The team also made a handful of adapter enhancements. These are pretty targeted. So one of them actually came from our support team, which was a request to add Rally adapter API headers to support troubleshooting in Rally. So we added these integration headers to the API calls. This will make it easier to identify the API calls coming from ConnectALL, as well as kind of give us a little bit of visibility into how our customers are using the Rally adapter. Um, so that's pretty neat. This works whether they're on-prem or SaaS because it comes as part of the API call. Um, so we were able to do pretty quick turnaround and get that into the product. The other enhancement, and this was actually already delivered in a patch in the 3.6.01 patch, where the when we sync with Jira, we fetch the change log from Jira, and the only Jira API that allows that, the expand history API, expands the full history for each Jira ticket. Um, there were cases at customers where this was causing the API request to time out and the Jira server would just never respond. And so the item would fail silently. And so now this lets us skip that expand history. By default, we do sync the history because there are a couple of use cases that are supported by the history, like tracking project changes in Jira, because IDs change when projects change, and so this was one of the ways we could track that. There's also some behavior if you're syncing between Jira, it can handle the status transitions, but you can handle that with a workflow mapping instead. Um, so we have the option now to do a Jira sync without this, and that stops those kind of items with huge history from failing the sync. So there's no change to existing automations or the default behavior. It's now just a configuration option for Jira. Um, this is kind of a corner case, but it was specific to one customer where they were needing to do some kind of ugly creation date filtering. But even so, they were still running into cases where like their Jira team had set up a single epic to be the front end for like all incoming customer requests. And so people would have an automated like entry system where there would be in a year 5,000 stories that would get added and removed from this epic. And so that would fail. And some of these front end like integration features or epics in Jira had existed for a decade. And so they had tens of thousands of entries in the change log, which is why they were failing. Um, so if this is something that you see in any customer environment where they have a handful of Jira items that are just not syncing, and they happen to have these huge change logs, that could be a case to be able to make that change. Um, any questions about these adapter enhancements?
Just a quick question on that changelog toggle, Chaz, and sorry if I missed it, but is that defaulted to being on or off?
It is defaulted to being on, which was the behavior before we added the toggle for it. So
Okay,
there's no change to existing automations or the default behavior. It is now an option to turn it off.
okay, thank you.
And then I see a question
One
about
more
in case of
question.
project move, how will it be handled? This is a great case for setting up dynamic record linking. So you can where you sync the Rally ID into Jira and the Jira ID into Rally, and then the project move will see that the Rally ID already exists and recognize it as linking to the existing Rally item. That's the recommendation if you're using the Jira history change log in a multi-project environment.